Thanks for inviting us in. We want to begin tonight with this live look from Key West. It's a little dark, but you can still see the massive waves crashing on the land way over the top of this buoy at the southernmost point. Rain bands are now reaching portions of Florida. Hurricane Ian is now just hours away from making landfall, possibly as a Category 4 hurricane, and the damage could be catastrophic. We've already seen what happened in Cuba with the storm knocking out power to the entire country. In fact, tonight you can see our weather maps tracking the exact location right now as this huge storm approaches Florida. So we want to begin tonight by getting right over to Kelly Green. Kelly?
Thanks, Scott. Yes, Hurricane Ian still a Category 3 at this hour with 120-mile-per-hour winds taking that movement north-northeast at 10 miles per hour. It's likely going to upgrade into a Category 4 overnight. And we have very strong, heavy winds and lots of rain with this. I put future track on this so you can see the heavy rain that will be moving into this. Category 4 sometime tomorrow morning. This is forecasting around 8 a.m. This will continue to move into this cone area between Tampa and Fort Myers. Right now, the best outlook looks to be just north of Fort Myers, and then this will take more of a northerly curve, moving over Orlando, dropping down to a tropical depression early Thursday, packing in a lot of heavy rain, storm surge, and devastating winds. And that strong wind will also cause more storm surge. 9 foot plus of very high storm surge is going to be associated with this on the western portion of Florida.
Kelly, thank you. And the big concern with Hurricane Ian is the life-threatening storm surge, which could reach 12 feet. But the strong winds reaching up to 130 miles per hour will also pack a punch, creating dangerous situations for families and rescue teams. Now, in the last 24 hours, we've seen a surge of people hopping in cars and heading to airports, trying to get out at the last minute.
But for many people, it's just too late. Tonight, our Rachel Krause talked with a couple of families among the lucky ones who landed here in Indianapolis on the last flights out.
But you have to just be prepared no matter what.
Kathleen Gill is happy to be back home again in Indiana. Her flight from Tampa, one of the last to leave the Gulf Coast Tuesday, ahead of Hurricane Ian's arrival. The storm cutting her girls' trip with friends short after being evacuated out of their beach condo on Indian Rocks Beach.
We were in Zone A. Along the beach was Zone A. Yeah, it was scary. People were driving in with their plywood and their sandbags, and they were doing all the preparing for the storm.
She's not the only traveler catching a last-minute flight out in hopes of avoiding Ian's arrival.
I would rather have my babies here in Indiana and be safe.
Mackenzie Cowan and her 2 kids are feeling grateful that they were able to get away from the hurricane, staying with Grandma instead over the next few days. They were able to get a last-minute flight out of Fort Lauderdale, but her husband will wait out the storm to keep a close eye on their 4 pets from their Fort Myers home.
My husband's still kind of left behind right now in Florida, and he's taking care of our pets and putting the shutters up and trying to keep our home safe. So we're sad, but also happy to be somewhere safer right now.
She says he's got supplies and food to get through the hurricane, but hoping they won't be needed. And while those who made it through Indy's airport arrivals today are now safe from Ian's wrath, many others tonight are waiting for this storm to make landfall, sheltered in place wherever they can around the Sunshine State.
I'm so grateful to be home. So grateful to be home and praying immensely for all of those who might be impacted.
If you were planning on flying into the impacted areas of Florida tomorrow or Thursday, you'll likely see cancellations or delays. So just make sure to check with your airline and the Indianapolis International Airport's website.
With the heavy winds, storm surge, and the damage that's expected, Hoosiers are already heading south to help everybody out. In fact, just minutes ago, Indiana's Task Force 1 shared this update of their own journey down to Florida. Teams are fueling up one more time right now before calling it a night in southern Alabama. Now 45 members and 6 support personnel packed up and left this morning. Tonight they're waiting for instructions from FEMA on where to respond when this hurricane finally hits. Red Cross volunteers from Indiana also setting up shop tonight near Orlando. They're helping out before, during, and after Hurricane Ian makes landfall. They're offering resources to all the people who are trying to weather this hurricane, and they're bringing in emergency vehicles to go into communities and help families in need. Now, tonight we're also keeping an eye out for legitimate donation resources that may pop up in the coming days after we see the scope of this damage. We'll post those for you on WTHR.com and our WTHR app.